And live. Well, sort
Live
of.
from New York. It's Ralph and
What's up, man? How's it going?
what's going on? The only reason I say it like that is because SNL just had their 50th anniversary. And by the way, I am a huge fan of SNL. I know they are old school, they've been around for 50 years, but that program has gone through its changes and is still funny.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And I didn't watch it, but I do watch it like clips of it. And if I hear some really good things, I can just rewind it and watch it off of YouTube or whatever. Oh,
So like the Dave Chappelle 16-minute stand-up routine that he did. I think I sent it to you. He's, oh my God, what an amazing comedian that man is. He's very few comedians can weave a story like that man. He's so good.
yeah, he's
He's
always
so
been good. I mean, for a long time. And, and I think he's just, I don't know about just now getting the credit for it, but I think a lot of people are beginning to realize his genius. But he's
I
always been
think
that
they
way.
always kind of knew with Chappelle's show back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
But right now he is considered iconic, I think.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
where he is that's the stardom, the level of stardom that he's achieved. But anyway,
Yeah.
let's not go off on a tangent on Dave
Yeah. Here
Chappelle.
we are again. Hi, everybody.
What are we going to talk about?
Well, first of all, I will say hi to everybody. It's been a little while, and if everybody's out there enjoying it, as a reminder, please hit like, subscribe, click the bell notifications so that you can be reminded when we're back on. And we might as well stick to our platform where we are fielding a couple of questions at the beginning. And actually, one of the questions that just leans right into what we just said is, you take this question. The question is from Barry Vega, 1999. It says, basically, I've missed you guys. Why the delays? I guess he's referring to the last time.
There was life came in between. I mean, a dear friend of ours, unfortunately, his wife had passed away. So, we had to be there to support him. So that created a little bit of a change in the schedule. And was something that kind of emotionally was not easy, right? Because
Yeah.
this is a man that Ralph and I have known for, oh my God, 50 years, right?
Yeah.
50 years. And the news was a surprise. We went there and to be his friend, and it kind of disrupted our schedule a bit. And then, of course, everything else got in the way before that. But I'm glad we're back.
Same here. So, yeah, the unfortunate passing of our friend's wife, it definitely it was a shock, and it really hurts. I'm sure it hurts him a whole lot more than we can imagine.
Oh my!
And so it definitely set everybody sort of like on a somber sort of like a note. And so we decided, out of respect for him and his family, and for us too, to just sort of like, just
More, yeah.
exactly mourn with our friend. And that just feels respectful for us to just go ahead and take a little bit of time. So,
Yep.
but we're back. Glad to be back. And so, okay, that leads us to question number 2. I'll take this one. It says, the reaction video idea that you guys had is a great idea. When can we expect to see them? And can I make a recommendation? Well, yeah. The second part of that is anybody and everybody can make a recommendation. And
We want questions. We want topics to be discussed. Like we've said in the past, I could sit up here all day and talk about nothing. No, but we don't want to talk.
yeah,
We're very good about talking about everything and nothing. So
right.
it's like we could, but we would love to have some suggestions from our audience.
Absolutely. So that's it. Everybody just throw them in there, and we're obviously not going to get to them all right away, but one at a time. And if we make time, Dexter and I, we may do 2 reaction videos, depending on the length of the videos. If it's a short joke or whatever, or a song, depending. So, but everybody is welcome to suggest anything and everything. That's what we're here for. So, and as far as when are we going to start? Well, you know what? I'm going to look into that, and maybe by the next episode, maybe I'll have it ironed out. And then Dexter and I will discuss it. We'll do a dry run, make sure that we know what the heck we're doing, and then we'll go for it, see what happens. But
Well, one
yes,
of these days when on this platform, right? When we start to grow, and everyone that has been with us from the very beginning sees like all the little bumps along the way that we've
wow.
actually found this, be like, oh my
Oh
god, it's
God,
gonna,
yeah.
it's going to be a long way before the number one spot on podcast, which I don't even know if it's even.
Wow, yeah. I mean, it was anybody who really wants to see how rough it was, go back to episode 1 and 2, and it was the content was good, but the visuals were yeesh.
Oh my god! So
but
we
but
have
we're
to.
but, but we're still growing.
We're still growing. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
15 minutes. So what are we talking about today? I want to talk about something. I'm excited about Elon Musk.
Okay, good. Because you know what I was going to say was we're going to do trending stories, but
Yeah.
the number one trending story happens to be Elon Musk. So fire away.
Here's my problem. I got a real problem with a private citizen that has not been vetted in any form or fashion having access to my information. There's something going on that really bothers me. You have the richest man in the world and the most powerful man in the world, arguably, right? Hmm. Moving forward, not really paying attention to guardrails, that man has an end game in goal. There is no way that you're telling me, as a 63-year-old man who has been a citizen of this country, right, that what you're doing is in my best interest. Not even for a second. There is a end game in mind, which could be power, more money. God knows what's going on in your mind. And with Mr. Trump himself, gee, when he starts making statements about how this is the will of the people, this is what the country wants, I'm not so sure about that, right? Because he is getting.
Not everybody voted for him, and not everybody agrees with his style and his tactics.
And
So yeah, I can understand.
it seems very sloppy. It
Yeah.
seems like it's being done in the layoffs and the firings, the interceptions are being done in haste. You would think that it would be more surgical. Now it's coming to the news is starting to report that there were employees that got leading reviews and are being fired for poor performance. I mean, it's just a mess. It's just that he's coming at everything with a cleaver, right? Just laying off hundreds of thousands of workers. Now, obviously, Mr. Trump did not say that that was his plan, right? Because I would guarantee that those federal workers would not have voted for him if that was his plan, right?
Right.
But he walked in there and he has shocked everyone. Now, I'm not disagreeing with all of his policies. I'm not disagreeing yet with his immigration policies yet. I'm still paying close attention.
Hmm.
There's a lot of human rights issues there that are like really gray area. And but this thing with having a private citizen hack away at the government and dismantle agencies with the haste that they've done it. And it seems like everyone is either in shock or afraid to take them on or be a level of checks and balances. There's something's not right. And
Yeah.
I'm starting, and I am not a conspiracy theorist, but something is starting to bother me with that relationship.
Well, when you get the most powerful guy in the world and the richest guy in the world in the same room, even if there is no malintent, the possibilities and the power that they wield is this is the
Gosh,
800-pound gorilla in the room. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I can understand a lot of people being concerned about that. I really can. This to me, whether I agree with that or not, to me, I think this is predicated upon, and maybe I'm wrong, right? But this whole spending debacle. Now, when we first started a couple of shows ago, we were discussing the idea of government waste and
right,
how that has to get reined in. And I
right.
still agree with that. And they're laying into that USAID which honestly speaking, I like to think of myself as fairly intelligent a little bit. I didn't know until recently that it even existed. I'll be
Oh,
honest with you.
USAID, yeah, for
I had no
international.
idea that it existed. I've heard of the big, the Treasury Department, CIA, all the intelligence communities, but I had never heard of U.S. aid, and certainly not what they're currently doing. Now, they did release a long list of expenses, which, you have to think, what? $50 million for condom for the Gaza Strip? You know, w-
I
one
saw
point,
that, and then
yeah,
there were like millions of dollars for like certain premium online subscriptions, and
right.
that I understand. That is the epitome of waste,
Oh,
right?
God.
But at what level are you determining like who to lay off? Probationary workers who have not had civil service tenure yet, right?
Right,
Um,
right, right,
so you've come in there with no warning whatsoever.
hmm
Well, that's not any different than it is in private enterprise. There is no warning.
right,
That you get inklings, but there is no warning. That you just lost your job. You've been doing this job for 2 years and 11 months, but
hmm
because you're 1 month short of your civil service, right? Then you are done. So you
yeah,
just wasted 3 years of your life because this
right,
man wanted to. These are the easiest things to cut.
sure,
It's
sure,
painful. I've been through
sure,
a leg. It's painful, and
yeah,
it's
and
not easy.
right. And the thing of it is these two gentlemen, the president and Elon Musk, they're coming into government with a corporate mindset, because that's what that is.
That is a
It's
corporate.
like cut here, cut there. And I don't know whether they've got that right. Like you said, that's currently, a lot of those are in the courts right now, and there's at least one judge that I've heard of that is blocking some of these decisions for whatever the reason. So, and of course, that's going to be appealed, and we'll see what happens with the appeal.
Well, we'll see
But
if the
yeah,
courts can hold him back because if he starts pushing back against the courts, it says, well, which I heard when Vance gave his speech, he goes, well, the court shouldn't mandate a ultimate presidential power. Oh, hold on for a second.
yeah,
Hold on. There has to be
there's a
a
check and
line
balance.
of justice.
Yeah,
You cannot run through the government because you have presumably the mandate of the people because they voted you into office. You are going to still get how many people voted? Was it half, and the other half voted for Kamala? You are still going to get 50% of the country that doesn't appreciate what you're doing right now.
yeah. Oh,
Right?
no
And
matter
then
what he does.
you're going to press so many buttons.
Yep,
Someone's
he's
going to push back.
yep, and that's exactly what's happening. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are. I mean, God knows the streets are flooded with the politicians that are having these press conferences, whether it's Schumer and Pelosi and Maxine Waters, going on and on and on about nobody voted for these guys or
But what are you
for
doing about
or
it?
for Elon Musk. But now, see, and now again, this is might come back to some conspiracy theory is why are they so up in arms about this? Governments, I guess, internationally, that are upcoming or
It's an international organization that provides aid in different areas of relief, right? Or different areas of progression when it comes to their governments. Now, if you want to be rid of that altogether, okay. But at some point, you're going to get rid of someone. I'm sorry. What you're going to do is that you're going. His initial count for federal employees was between 1 and 200,000. He's got 75,000 now that submitted for the buyout. I don't believe that they can submit anymore for the buyout. So he
hmm,
still has, again, right, quite a bit of number, 50 to 75,000 employees that he still needs to cut, and he's going to do it
oh yeah,
because the man, there are two billionaires making decisions for the everyday person in this
sure,
country.
sure, right.
This is about their legacies. This is about feeding their narcissism. This isn't about. I don't believe for 1 second that Elon Musk wakes up every morning and says, you know what, America, out of the goodness of my heart, I'm going to take care of this country. And unlike anyone ever has, trust me, I am doing this for you. If you think that that man is doing this for you, you are supremely outside of your mind. Because with Elon Musk, there's always an end game.
No, yeah, well, I think that can be said about anybody. Certainly, the President Trump, when
Oh my God.
before he became president the first time, never mind the second time, it let's face it, it was about gaining money
Power.
and power. So I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me that if in all of this, their statuses, their power, and their wealth grows. It wouldn't surprise me. So we'll see. But going back to what I started to say is a lot of these a lot of American politicians, whether they're senators or congressmen, they're up in arms about it, but not because of international spending cuts, but because of American spending cuts. Because
It's
these
affecting their
guys,
program. There's
I have to look at it. I'm also looking at this, whether some people are going to like hearing this or not, right? You have to look at the reality that a lot of politicians from both sides, or three sides, if you want to count the center, they come into power making $200,000 a year, and within 20 years, they're worth 75, 100, $200 million. And you have to ask yourself, well, where's that money come from?
because they
And
have access to information
well, oh,
that we
absolutely.
do not have access to.
Exactly. And whether or not that is the drive, whether that's what they're trying to, you know, the possibility once entered my head that this could be, it could be a smokescreen in order to get back at the politicians that made his life miserable
That's
during
already
his,
happening. But
yeah,
that's already happening. And
yeah.
if that doesn't, and if one case shows you that more than anything else, it's Eric Adams in New York City. I am a born and raised New Yorker, right?
Mm,
So are you, Ralph.
yep,
And
yep.
I'm telling you, that is dirty. What happened there with Eric Adams is as dirty as it gets. And there's no way that the DOJ is going to drop these charges on their own. The fact that 7 prosecutors resigned as a reason for it because they weren't going to be told to do that, it's still in a judge's hands. But then you're saying to me, oh, this is a sanctuary state, but all of a sudden ICE is operating in Rikers Island. You know, ICE operating in Rikers
What?
Island is
I didn't hear
secondary.
that.
Yeah, it's a sec because he just suddenly allowed that. I wonder why he suddenly allowed it. Hmm. I I'm just thinking out loud here. Maybe to save his own ass. You know, he's
There's a thought.
he that I don't care what he says. Have everybody in front of you denying it. No, there's no quid pro quo with Eric Adams. That man turned his back on this city the second they offered him. He aligned himself with Donald Trump, and they said, you know what? When I get elected president, I'm either going to pardon you or get the charges dropped. Because if you do that, I'll do this. That's exactly what's.
Oh God, I need a shower after this conversation.
I need a shower too. It's like ew, ew, ew.
But
Politics.
let's change the
Eh,
subject real quick before this gets really nasty, right?
ew, ew.
Let's go
I am
back to the
very vocal
trending. Let's
today.
go back. No, this is not trending, but I did want to hit up the Super Bowl. Finally it's over, and finally we know who the better team is. And man, was that a shellacking. Wow.
You want to talk about it? Everybody was praising the baby Jesus, Patrick Mahomes, and you should, right? Because the man is a
He is
great
all
quarterback.
that and a bag of chips.
He's all that about the chips. He's a great quarterback. But talk about getting spanked. I mean, you're talking about legacy, and they got spanked by Philadelphia.
Yeah, man.
Just spanked.
They were talking
Patrick,
three-peat, and nobody told the Eagles anything about that. I'm gonna have to edit this part too. But I mean, no, the Eagles absolutely put it on them like beat them like a rented mule, just smoked them like a cheap cigar. And at some point, and now I didn't watch any of it. I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch any, but I was getting newsflash score updates on my phone, and it seemed like every minute I was getting these updates, and the Eagles score, turnovers, interception, Eagles score, and I turned off my alerts at right around the beginning of the fourth quarter when I saw 40-0, something like that, or 40-6. I thought, you know what? What's the point here? So I shut it
I
off.
think Kansas City scored were in garbage time, so it just wasn't really. I mean, I'm glad that happened. I like parity in the NFL. I like parity in
Sure,
sports.
sure.
I don't like one team to dominate like that. I think
Right.
that
It's not good for.
it's not good for the sport. Andy Reid is an amazing Hall of Fame coach.
Yes, he is.
Patrick Mahomes is an already he's a Hall of Fame quarterback,
Is he
and
30 yet?
he's not even 30 yet.
Oh,
He's already a Hall of Famer.
wow.
So
Yeah.
it's they are great, but I want to see somebody else win. And you know what? I have a lot of love for Saquon Barkley because I saw Saquon Barkley suffer in New York, right?
Yes, he did.
I saw him, injured. I saw him play through it. I saw how the fans kind of didn't appreciate what he was doing. They didn't appreciate the Giants jettisoned him. That's certainly a decision that's coming back to haunt them now. And so the year that he signs at Philly, not only does he set the rushing, well, he didn't set the rushing record, but because
Well,
that Eric
he set the Philly
he
rushing
set
record.
the Philly rushing record. And because Eric Dickerson still has that, that's when he made that quote and he said, "Look, I'm not here for a record. I'm here for a ring." And he
Right,
got what he wanted. He got a ring.
right.
Yeah.
And by
And
the
not
way,
only
I
did he
think
get a ring,
he'd have gotten both. I think he could have gotten both. I think that he sat out a final game of the season. I don't know that I agreed with that, but he did say that he just wanted the ring. So he got it.
yeah, I think the decision was between him and his coach.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I would have done the same thing if God forbid, because there's always that shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? If God forbid anything happened to him, and then you lessen your Super Bowl chances by
Hmm.
20% because he's not playing, then that's significant. And I wouldn't
Well,
have
you
wanted
can
to take.
bet next season he's going to go for that record,
Oh, yeah.
and
So
that's a
have a drink.
young
You have a
team.
drink then.
That's a
Sure.
young team that it's coming back. And the difference is going to be they're going to know each other. They know their own game now. They play well together, and they're going to be a more dangerous team next season than this season, in my opinion. We'll
Yeah.
see.
And their QB, my gosh, his name just escapes me right now, but his QB, the Philly
I
QB, is
think
very
Jalen
underrated.
Hurts, something like that.
Yes, he's very underrated,
Oh
and
yes.
he has been underrated for quite a while.
Hmm.
And he showed something in the Super Bowl. He showed poise. He showed a really solid arm. He showed fantastic touch.
Yep.
He used his legs. Like he was involved. He was focused, engaged the whole game. It was almost perfect for him.
It was, and they won. And I
And
was one in my even in my I don't know whether I told you what my felt at the beginning of the season, but certainly in my office at the beginning of the season, I really thought that they would go undefeated. I really believed that. And so when they lost that first game, I was like, what? It was, or the second game, whatever it was. I thought, and then they lost a couple at the beginning of the season. And I thought, man, maybe they're not what it appears to be on paper. As it turns out, they are what they appeared on paper. And they
yeah,
finally caught traction. And woo!
well,
Man, I think they
I mean,
won.
I never judge teams at the beginning of a season, right?
Yeah.
Because it's always, when people get excited, like the baseball season's coming soon, right? I mean,
Yes.
you saw Juan Soto, reporting to the Mets the first time that he's reporting to the Mets, and
Hmm.
everybody's all thrilled about that, thrilled about opening day. Opening day is still 2 months away, everybody. Relax.
I know, right? Chill.
Still 2 months away.
Yeah.
It's exciting to see pitchers and catchers report,
Yep.
but dude,
Relax. Right.
they're
Exactly.
2 months away. So I'm excited as anybody about it.
Yes.
I never believe in teams being judged at the beginning of the season, right? Because they had
Yeah.
injury issues. Because everybody starts off for the most part
Exactly.
like crap, right? And then they got to get their
Right.
act together. And then as the season
Yep.
progresses, they get better.
Yep. One of the more accurate, I think, well stated proverbs, if you want to call it that, is it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And the Eagles prove that. You
Sure.
know,
You can
they
say the same thing
started
with the
off
stock
rough.
market. It's not how
Yeah.
it starts, how it
Hmm.
finishes, right? Same
Yep.
thing with your career, not how it starts, how it finishes. Life, not how it starts, how it finishes.
Hmm.
Same thing
So,
in everything. It's how it's. Yeah, they did a nice job, man. And you know what? They laid it on them. It wasn't like a. It wasn't like a last minute, down to the wire game. They put it on them.
smoked them.
They put it on them. It was like, ouch. You
Smoked
know,
them like a Philly blunt. Just,
we beat them like they stole something. It was crazy.
just. It was, it was laughable at one. Unless, of course, you're a Chiefs fan, and that's so laughable now.
Yeah,
And
Kansas
I
City
think
they
there
humbled a
were
bit.
there were a lot of people rooting against the Chiefs for a lot of reasons. Whether it was just got tired of the winning, whether it was Taylor Swift up on that screen constantly, and who can't get tired of that after a while? Sorry
Oh,
about you, Taylor Swift
yeah, I
fans.
love
Sorry
Taylor.
about
Like,
that.
Taylor's been overexposed. It's time for you to. Taylor needs to go. Taylor needs
Yeah,
to go.
just
Taylor Swift, but she's got
right,
to go under for a little while. And Travis has got to make his decision by the 15th because there are salary cap implications. But they're not going to be the same team next year.
right.
And you know, uh, so when teams start to challenge him and like beat them, that's when you know that they're normal. But
Yep,
something tells me they're going to come back with a hunger, and we'll see what happens.
yep. It ain't over. Those two teams might meet up again next Super Bowl. We'll see. You know, this is the second time they've met, and right now it's 1-1, right? So I think the
Yep,
Chiefs beat them a couple of years ago.
yep.
So right now it's going to be the rubber match if they meet up again next season or in a couple of seasons. But yeah, time is passing and it's against the Chiefs. I think time is working against them because the Eagles are just now gelling,
Yeah,
and that's scary.
yeah.
That's a scary thought that they're just now sort of like working well together.
Coming into their own, right? And you can,
Yeah,
it's the same thing with sports, right? You win too much. Tom Brady went through it, right? It's like when you win a lot, people will love to hate you because for
yep,
whatever reason, they don't
sure,
like you. They don't like any one person having or any one team having that much success. That's why the
sure,
Yankees are the evil empire because no one,
exactly. I think
even though they
exactly
haven't
why.
won since 2009.
Right.
So
They're still looked at with,
the
yeah,
evil,
yeah,
but in reality, that's not who they are anymore. If you look at who the evil empire now, it's the Dodgers,
yeah.
who who have
Surprise.
outspent everyone,
Right.
because
And
it's
they got
owned by,
and they got better in the offseason. The
and they got better,
Dodgers.
because they do something with like deferred money to get these
Yeah.
players there, like a la Bobby Bonilla, right? They'll be getting paid 20 years after they stop playing.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening there.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I don't know the finite information there, but
Me
it's a
either.
deferment thing, right?
It
So,
kind of looks
but
like they've sacrificed their future for the now. It kind of looks that way, but we'll see. We'll
we'll
see. I
see.
don't know.
We'll, we'll
I
see
saw
how long the
some
deferment's.
I saw some video of Oshani, whatever his name is, right? He's warming up, pitching, so
I
it looks
haven't
like
seen him
he's
as a. I haven't seen
yeah,
him as a guy.
yeah. He looks good. I don't know
Good.
whether he's going to be ready, but he was snapping him off the mound. So, God, okay, we do not
And then
need
of course,
that.
Stanton of the Yankees comes into the season hurt. Like that man, he's the softest big man in baseball. I swear to God, him
Yeah,
man. Always hurt. What is wrong with him? Like what is wrong with him genetically when he's always hurt? He turns the wrong way. He's hurt. It's just it's
the wind
too much.
blows, he's got an ear infection or whatever.
He's got an ear. Well, I guess this is a good point. I mean, did you to end it here and wait for the next episode, everyone? But we're depending on. I should we. I think we need to really encourage everyone, Ralph, to really tell us what do they want to talk about, or what
Sure.
do they want us to talk about.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So that would be fun. We know what I was also thinking about? When we
What's
get
that?
to the point where we get everybody's suggestions, maybe we can have like a live call in at some point, but we'll see. I mean,
Yeah, I thought
that's
about that.
what
It, that
I'm
that that's on. Yeah, that is definitely on the forefront of my mind.
Can
In
you imagine?
doing a live chat. I'm reviewing that. I'm looking into that. That's all
Yeah,
part of the prep. So I'm doing the live videos, the live feeds, the reaction videos, which is like, well, I don't know if it's going to be live. The reaction is going to be live, but we're going to record it and play it back
right.
after it's edited. But once we actually do go live with call-ins, that's going to be a little bit different. But I look forward to that too. So,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
man.
So, you know what? This is a great time to say goodbye to everyone because we don't want to bore you to death. We're
Yeah.
again, Ralph and I can talk about anything under the sun. And you know what? You could leave the room, bake a cake, walk your dog, come back. We'll still be talking about nothing.
I know. We're like our own Seinfeld show. You know what I mean? We talk about absolutely anything and nothing, and we're having a
Yeah.
great time at it.
We'll talk soon, everybody. See you
All right,
soon.
bro. You have a good one. Take care. Take care, guys. We'll see you at the next episode.